Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Victoria Police have a new tool that could help save lives long before an ambulance arrives. The Victoria County Fire Marshal's office is undergoing some changes, starting with a new leader. And a local nonprofit is changing lives one ride at a time. See how Grace Hope Ranch is offering lessons that go far beyond horseback riding.
And temperatures are going to be rising. As a matter of fact, we've got a little bit of a heat wave scheduled for this week. We'll be talking about the heat index as well. All that coming up in a moment.
And the Ganado softball team looks to reach the state semifinals next week. We'll hear from some of the maiden softball players later in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry has the night off. The UHV transfer to the Texas A&M University system is one big step closer. Senate Bill 2361 was passed in the Texas House today in its third reading. The bill went back to the Senate to concur on the cleanup amendment to protect the university's funding. The bill was laid out to the House by State Representative District 30 A.J. Louderback on April 15th. The state Senate already passed the bill for transfer. With the House passing the bill, it goes to Governor Greg Abbott for his signature. Louderback told us tonight he feels pretty good that Governor Abbott will sign the bill in Victoria. From there, the transfer will begin on June 1st with the official transfer complete on September 1st. A Port Lavaca man faces charges in Wharton County. Calhoun County deputies arrested 45-year-old Nathan Harris, a registered sex offender. Harris is accused of soliciting a minor from Wharton County online. He is also accused of sending inappropriate photographs to the minor. Harris is in the Calhoun County Jail in lieu of $160,000 bond. A murder trial date in Lavaca County is reset. The trial for Connor Ratcliffe is now set for June 18th. It was scheduled to start May 1st. In October 2022, Ratcliffe was involved in a double fatal collision near Yoakum. It led to 2 murder indictments for the deaths of Colson Jacobs and Lauren Miller. The Victoria Police Department is adding new life-saving technology to its police units, and they've already made use of them in the field. 25 News Now reporter Trenton Whiting dives deeper into the immediate benefits of the new additions.
Deliver shock now. Shock delivered.
Victoria Police now have a crucial addition to their ride-alongs, a life-saving technology known as an automated external defibrillator, or AEDs.
What I wanted to do is I wanted to use the technology that we have that exists to try to do better.
Victoria Police Chief Chuck Young says they already use CPR as their main life-saving technique, but AEDs monitor heart activity and provide directions for first responders.
We know CPR and things like that. This technological piece just gives us a little bit more.
The device also gives an electric shock when the heart is at risk of failure.
We listen to what it says. It says to stop, we stop. It says to continue with compressions, we continue with compressions until the fire department, more advanced life support, can get there to help us.
He says there are currently 20 in operation, but their aim is to continue adding to their stock.
Eventually we'll get an AED in each one of the cars.
Trenton Whiting, KAVU TV, 25 News Now.
The Victoria County Fire Marshal's office is undergoing some changes. First, starting with a new leader. County officials are in the process of making some operations changes between the Fire Marshal's office and the airport. While this change is taking place, current airport operations and maintenance director and former assistant fire marshal, Marshall Frazier, was sworn in this morning as interim county fire marshal.
I'll be acting as interim fire marshal until a suitable replacement is found, and I'm also the director of operations and maintenance for the airport, which the aircraft rescue firefighting services will be transferred to the airport in the restructuring of the county fire marshal's office.
Frazier has over 25 years of service with Victoria County, which included Director of Operations and Maintenance with Victoria Regional Airport, Aircraft Rescue Firefighting Lieutenant, and Assistant County Fire Marshal. Frazier replaces Richard Castillo, who retired from the Fire Marshal's position in April. The city of Seadrift is looking to expand its police department with another officer along with 3 reserve positions. Chief Cheyenne Beaver had this to say to those qualified and looking for a job in small town law enforcement.
It's been a trial to find peace officers in today's day and age. Everyone's shorthanded. So we have a lot to offer. We're not a 24-hour agency. We do pay fairly decent, in comparison to the area, and we really like to have, some more assets to our team.
For more information, you can reach out to the Seadrift Police Department at 361-785-2069. And this brings us to our viewer poll tonight. What's your biggest concern about policing in small towns like Seadrift? Is it response times, community relations, officer training, or budget constraints? Well, overwhelmingly 57%, and this has been consistent all day and night long. Response times, the biggest concern about policing in small towns like Seadrift, 57%. We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we thank you for voting. Time to check on our weather. He's back. Let's go to Mac Pettis with the first look at the forecast. Mac, you're just in time for the early start of summer.
Oh, yes. Here we are mid-May, and we're already talking about heat index. What we have is a bit of a heat wave for this week. Already we've got heat advisories for most of South Texas. We'll be talking about how hot it's going to get coming up in just a moment.
Mac, thank you. Texas lawmakers slipped millions of dollars into a budget proposal for kits intended to help track down missing children. The move comes 2 years after they cut funding for such kits following a ProPublica and Texas Tribune report that showed there's no evidence they work. To read this full Texas Tribune article, visit our website, crossroadstoday.com. Grace Ranch is welcoming all riders to become one with the horses. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley spoke with a frequent rider to learn more.
Nonprofit organization Grace Ranch offers lessons to children of all ages and abilities.
Grace Ranch is dedicated to helping children learn everything from the basics of riding to competing in rodeos and barrel races. But for many families, like the Carry-Ons, the impact goes much deeper. Courtney Carry-On's 6-year-old son, Maverick, has cerebral palsy, and horses have become a powerful part of his therapy.
It's shown in Maverick alone, his development from when he started horse riding out there to now, his core strength has improved significantly.
As Maverick rides, his strength improves, but it's the emotional growth that stands out the most.
It's definitely just really cool as a parent to see your son out there with these beautiful, majestic animals.
Grace Ranch is opening its gates and its heart to special needs and at-risk children. Through the gentle power of horses, they're creating a space where every child can feel strong, supported, and valued, one ride at a time.
Reporting from Victoria County, Ray Mosley, KAVU-TV, 25 News Now.
Graduation season is here, and we're celebrating the class of 2025. Today, we congratulate Julissa from Cuero High School. The message says, "We are so proud of you, baby girl. You did it. Here's to the next chapter. We love you so much. Love Mom and Dad, your biggest fans." Congratulations to Matthew from Victoria West High School. The message says, "Matthew, you did it. We are so proud of you. Keep reaching for the stars," says Angela Cepeda. And congratulations to TJ from Industrial High School. The message says, "I am so proud of you, TJ. I love you beyond words. I love being your mom. I love that you are going after what your heart desires. Let God lead you, and you will go even further. Praying for the best of what God has in store for you," says Cynthia Driscoll. Submit a photo and heartfelt message for your grad through June 13th. We'll feature our area grads on air and on social media. Go to our contest page at crossroadstoday.com, click the Entertainment tab, then select Contest to submit and show your pride. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10. A new order from President Trump aims at massive cuts in drug prices. Also ahead, the Trump administration ends humanitarian protections for thousands of Afghan nationals in the U.S. What this means for families and the controversy it's sparking. President Trump this morning signed an executive order the White House says will lower the price Americans pay for prescription drugs. The order directs the Department of Health and Human Services to find price-cutting goals in 30 days and then start negotiations between the administration and drug makers.
So basically what we're doing is equalizing. There's a new word that I came up with, which I think is probably the best word. We're going to equalize, where we're all going to pay the same. We're going to pay what Europe's going to pay. We're going to all pay. Now, there may be some countries in dire need, and I would be willing to sacrifice that and help them. But it's called most favored nation. We are going to pay the lowest price there is in the world. We will get whoever is paying the lowest price. That's the price that we're going to get. So remember that. So we're no longer paying 10 times more than another country. Whoever is paying the lowest price, we will look at that price and we will say that's the price we're going to pay. Most favored nations. That's what it is.
This measure is expected to face major legal challenges. The U.S. and China have agreed to drastically roll back tariffs temporarily, but concerns about supply chain issues remain as fewer cargo ships are arriving in the U.S. from China. That could mean fewer goods on shelves for U.S. consumers. Today's Consumer Watch explains why prices could still rise despite trade talks.
U.S. markets opening strongly Monday morning following the announcement that the U.S. and China have agreed to roll back tariffs temporarily.
I think it's really a very historic fresh start in the relationship between the U.S. and China.
Overall tariffs on Chinese goods will drop from 145% to 30%, and China will cut tariffs on American imports from 125% to 10%. But U.S. consumers could still see higher prices on goods because of supply chain concerns.
We currently do not have any container ships at port right now.
On Friday, officials at the Port of Seattle said cargo traffic bound for the U.S. hasn't been this low since the pandemic. A similar situation at the Port of Los Angeles, where 0 cargo vessels had departed from China Friday as well. Volume at the busiest U.S. ports has dropped more than 30%. These Chinese ships typically carry a variety of products that U.S. consumers depend on. Here's why that's a big concern. The Port of LA is one of the largest in the world. According to their stats, China and Hong Kong are the biggest importers, bringing in $120 billion worth of goods last year to this port alone.
We may be seeing empty products on the shelves. So this is now going to be felt by the consumer.
Once the cargo hits U.S. ports, the goods take as little as a few weeks to hit store shelves. But with fewer ships arriving, some U.S. leaders warn consumers will feel the crunch.
Nothing is actually going to come from this other than continued higher prices and uncertainty, instability.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
A flesh-eating parasite that was eradicated in the United States decades ago is back and having an impact on cattle imports. The species, called the New World screwworm, is a type of fly. It was recently found in remote parts of Mexico, causing U.S. officials to halt cattle imports from its southern neighbor. The U.S. Agriculture Secretary said all live cattle, horse, and bison imports from Mexico will stop immediately, at least for now, to stop the threat. An American-Israeli man held captive by Hamas is on his way home. Don Alexander released today after spending more than 19 months in captivity. He was taken hostage during the attack on October 7, 2023. Crowds celebrating in his hometown of Tenafly, New Jersey today.
The convoy carrying Don Alexander, the last living American held captive by Hamas, leaving Gaza. The Red Cross transporting the American-Israeli to safety after more than 19 months in captivity.
Hey God, he gone?
His parents waiting on Israel's side of the border with Gaza. Alexander's mother speaking to him by phone, the first time they've spoken in 589 days.
I love you, and I'm gonna see you, soon.
And finally, late today, the emotional moment. Alexander reuniting with his mother. His family in Israel cheering as they heard the news of his release. They're chanting Idon, Idon. Doron Zexer's family hosted Alexander while he was serving in Israel's military. Zexer says their family is strong again, together again.
This is a new day. This is a new day.
In Alexander's hometown of Tenafly, New Jersey, crowds dancing in celebration. Alexander was taken hostage by Hamas during the attack on October 7th. At the time, he was 19 years old. He spent 2 birthdays in captivity. Hamas releasing the now 21-year-old as a sign of goodwill ahead of President Trump's trip to the Middle East this week.
We hope that we're going to have other hostages released too, as you know.
Today, the White House releasing a new picture of Alexander holding up a sign that reads, "Thank you, President Trump." Israel says 58 hostages remain in captivity.
President Trump, please don't stop. Don't leave us alone. This is only the first step. Do whatever is necessary to bring every last one home.
This is believed to be the first time the U.S. has held direct talks with Hamas, a designated terrorist organization, bypassing Israel to secure Alexander's release. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
The Trump administration says it's ending a form of humanitarian relief for Afghan nationals living in the U.S. The Department of Homeland Security is terminating temporary protected status for Afghanistan. Secretary Kristi Noem says conditions have improved enough for people to return home. The decision could impact nearly 12,000 Afghans who came to the U.S. after the Taliban takeover and U.S. troop withdrawal. TPS provides temporary legal status and work permits for people fleeing war or disaster. Several groups are speaking out against this move today from the Trump administration.
And good evening, everybody. We're looking at 73 degrees right about now. Winds are fairly calm. It was a fairly nice day, but did you know that it got up to 90 degrees? Interesting part is that this is going to be getting into the upper 90s over the next few days. We've got a little bit of a heat wave. We'll talk about it after this. Well, good evening, everybody. Things were very nice over the weekend, you got to admit. Of course, low humidities, northerly winds, always helpful around here. But for the next couple of days, these winds that you see, they're going offshore, they'll be turning around and they'll be coming back out of the southeast. and all that humidity that we're familiar with is going to be rolling back into the area. Generally quiet around the area. As a matter of fact, as high pressure builds in with a dome of doom, remember we talked about it last summer? Well, that's what's moving back up, and that's what's going to keep us in a very stable weather pattern for quite some time. Right now, it's at least 7 to 9 days, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. Notice how along the immediate coastline, there's a little bit more humidity in the air. However, I really don't expect any kind of cloud cover or fog. Yet you go west of the city, and boy, the humidity just drops off the table. In fact, from San Antonio all the way to Del Rio, they're looking at 18%. I mean, just arid, dry air. Now, because of the high temperatures, the low humidities, temperatures are going to rise. And from Austin to San Antonio, to very close to us, all the way to the border, we're looking at a heat advisory for tomorrow. Of course, we don't have the high fire danger. That's okay. But we do have an advisory that the temperatures are going to be rising. For those of you that are going to be working outdoors, you might be doing a little bit more perspiration over the next couple of days. And always on hot days like this, check in the back seat and make sure you didn't leave anybody back there, two-legged or four-legged, either or. So as the sea breeze rolls back in, we're going to start increasing on the humidity. However, our chance for rain is almost nil because pressures are beginning to rise. Now, what happens, during the winter is that summer goes south. You know that, right? Well, what happens when the summer returns? Well, the big dome of high pressure, otherwise known as the subtropical high, starts rolling back in. And wherever it is located, that's the area of maximum sinking. Therefore, for the next few days, it'll be kind of over us. It's keeping all the stormy weather out of the Rockies to the north of our area. So that is really going to be the predominant feature for a couple of days, keeping us, shall we say, on the warm side. A little bit early in the year, but it is mid-May, and after May, what happens? June, and then July, and then I hate to think of August right now. Right now, we're looking at 67 as an overnight low for us, but look at these temperatures for tomorrow. 95 for us, and then 97 in Corpus, 106 in San Antonio. Well, the dry air obviously heats up faster during the daytime with the abundant sunshine that we're expecting. Port Lavaca, abundant sunshine. Things are looking good. You'll get up into the upper 80s, near 90 degrees. And those of you inland, just consider we're looking at high 90s for you in Cuero, and that would include, Kennedy and Gonzales and all that. So keep in mind that it'll be a little on the warm side for the next couple days. In fact, as we go through, it's going to be hot, hot, hot all the way through Friday, and then there's a little bit of a dip in the temperatures, at least as we get to the weekend, but our rain chances are pretty non-existent through 7 to 9 days. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads a Day on your phone. But if the breeze is blowing and the sun is out, it's a good day for baseball, right?
All right, Cross, so starting this Thursday night, we head into the regional finals where, again, softball, we have 2 teams remaining there in Shiner and Ganado. For the 6 p.m. show, we heard from the Ganado baseball team. Well, as they face the Danbury Panthers this Thursday. Well, for the 10, we're going to listen and see how the Ganado softball team is feeling, facing the Latonia Bulldogs in the regional finals. So outfielder Zoe Ibarra knows heading into this Thursday needs to have to keep this team together to keep the bats hot going into Thursday.
More cuts off the tee, more balls in the outfield from the coaches, whether that's stay after practice or just asking for more during practice. Like, we're gonna mess up, it's part of the game. It's just how you react to it. And
basically not to go in complacent. Yes, we've beat them before, but right now our minds are, just put our foots down on them and get it done. Not to be complacent. Just because we beat them before doesn't mean we'll beat them again. So just keep working hard every day in practice and get them again this time.
Now, you heard there from Tristan, this team has beat Latonia twice this season, and in those 2 victories, they have not allowed any runs, and they have scored 20-run runs against Latonia. So we'll see if that kind of same success goes into their game. It's going to be Thursday night at 8 p.m. at Columbus High School will be game 1 for that series. Now, from Ganado playing this Thursday, some high school softball action today, where the St. Joseph Lady Flyers face the Woodlands Christian Academy up there in Arlington. The Flyers would get the job done, winning 5-1, and they would advance there to the TAP State Championship game, which will be held there tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Flyers had 11 total hits there in the game, and Flyers star pitcher Shane Meisner, who was a former athlete of the week as well, she threw full 7 innings in this game, and saw right there that is last strikeout there in the game. She only allowed 3 hits and had 14 Ks there in that one for the Flyers. And now they either wait now to face either Hyde Park or Midland Christian there tomorrow afternoon, like I said, at 1:30 p.m. Now, that same luck kind of happened there for UHV for baseball. Well, gain out this game, they were selected to go to the Lawrenceville, Georgia Regional and ended up getting a #3 seed in the region. And I mentioned this game was back and forth, 6-4 were in the 6 o'clock, and then Kaiser, they walked it off there in the bottom of the 9th inning to get the win, 10-9 there over UHV. So with that type of victory, it's a tough one for UHV, but their season is not done. They're going to regroup there tomorrow to play at 3:30 p.m. They're going to play again a team up there in Illinois. I believe it's St. Thomas, Illinois. That is the team they're going to play. So we'll see if that can beat them. Again, it's double elimination there for UHV baseball. Same for the softball team. They began first round NAIA action today in Oklahoma City, where the Lady Jags, same there as the baseball team, a nail-biter to Morningside in their opening round game. They had a total of 5 hits there for the Lady Jags, but only scored 1 run with that. So now they have to wait again. Still don't know who's the loser of this one, of William Carey or Missouri Baptist. That's also an elimination game. That'll be there tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. in Oklahoma City. And now, how about the NBA draft lottery? It happened there earlier today out there in Chicago. And again, we talked about it. How are the San Antonio Spurs? How are the Houston Rockets going to be? Well, for Spurs fans, they had the chance to get the #2 pick, but the #1 pick is going to be here going to the Dallas Mavericks. And going into it, they had a 1.8% chance to get the #1 pick there and try to get the sweepstakes for Cooper Flagg of Duke. And now, we'll see. Most likely, they're probably going to get him there for Dallas Mavericks, and for the Spurs, we'll see who they else get there in the 2nd pick. So Rockets did get the #10 pick, though, there in the draft lottery. So again, we'll see where all these teams land later on in late June for the NBA draft. And then finally, the NFL schedule release will be this Wednesday, but one game that did get released, announced today. How about the season opener between the Dallas Cowboys facing the Philadelphia Eagles? That game's going to be scheduled for September 4th at 7:20 Central Standard Time in Philadelphia. So Cowboys, we'll see if they can kind of ruin the Super Bowl homecoming there for Philadelphia Eagles. We'll see if that happens there on September 4th. And that's going to do it here in sports. Don, back to you.
Yeah, but if they do that, Max, they won't get free cheesesteaks. That's something you got to think about. All right, stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, corgis take over Iowa for a one-of-a-kind event. See why these races are winning hearts and helping the community.
Tonight's show is stronger than 100 gorillas.
Washington University graduates got some life advice from an Olympian. Gold medalist Simone Biles delivered the commencement address today and also got an honorary degree from the university. The greatest of all time, yes, from Spring. The GOAT delivered the keynote speech at WashU's 164th commencement. She was also awarded an honorary Doctor of Humane Letters degree. It was the largest graduation crowd ever for Washington U. Over 17,000 people attended. Wow. In the rain.
In the rain.
In the rain.
Dedication.
A botanical garden in Iowa is gearing up for the stink. This 12-year-old corpse flower named Stinky Floyd is expected to bloom very soon. It only blooms every 5 to 10 years. As the corpse flower begins to slowly open, it will produce a rotting flesh smell that lasts about 24 to 48 hours. Raymond Gardens plans to extend its hours once the corpse flower blooms. Extend their hours and maybe extend the line of people staying outside because it stinks. It really stinks. I mean, we've done stories on that before that they really stink.
Why would people wait in line to go in to do that?
I was going to say, like, really?
Because it smells just like aged, rotting flesh.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't smelled that lately, so give it a whirl.
I'll pass. Thank you very much. Well, folks, for us, our temperatures are going to start rising into the 90s. You know, we had some fairly comfortable weather, and we had some great rains over the last couple of weeks. Now we're looking at a bit of a heat trend. We're looking for a heat advisory for tomorrow, and temperatures pushing the upper 90s right on through this week, and a little bit of a break for the weekend, but in terms of any real rain, nothing really for 7 to 9 days.
Thank you, Mac. And finally, Corgis took over River's Edge Park in Iowa this weekend for the 5th annual Corgi Racing event. The Omaha Corgi crew hosted the races to raise money for local small shelters. Corgis from across the metro competed in a series of races, and this year's winner was August. Organizers say the races are as unpredictable as the dogs themselves. Some dash to the finish line, others get distracted or even refuse to leave the starting box. The event continues to grow each year. And thank you for joining us. 25 News Now Sunrise, 5 a.m. Jimmy Kimmel Live starts now.